Good evening. I call this board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for joining us this evening. Please be advised in the event of a fire emergency, an alarm will sound. Please note all emergency exits and evacuate well away from the building. At this time, we request everyone please turn your cell phones to silent. Thank you for your cooperation. Additions, deletions, and changes to the agenda.
Yes, for under personnel, number 1011, appointment of coach.
Thank you. Take a motion for the consent agenda, please. Items 1 through 9.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Communications, correspondence. We will start with our Raider Points of Pride. The New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Distinction is awarded at the end of each sports season, in which they honor teams and individuals that excel in the classroom. I am proud to announce that all 6 Cal-Mum varsity teams have earned this distinction. Varsity girls soccer with an academic average of 96.75, varsity girls volleyball with an academic average of 96.42, varsity boys cross country 95.4, varsity boys soccer 94.89, CMBB varsity game day cheerleading 94.12, and CMBB varsity football 90.28. To receive the Scholar Athlete Team recognition, the team's average GPA for 75% of the roster must be greater than or equal to 90%. If the team does not meet Scholar Athlete Team criteria, the individuals on the team with a 90 or above GPA are still eligible to receive a pin and will be considered an individual Scholar Athlete. Congratulations to all of our athletes for their excellence on the field and in the classroom.
And then congratulations to seniors Anthony Leach, Damon Lindsay, and Max Wilson. They were all chosen for the 2023 Eddie Meath football game. And congratulations to the cheerleaders, Gianna McCowan and Mackenzie Neri, selected the cheer team. The Eddie Meath game was played on November 20th.
Elementary staff and students are lighting up the hallway with kindness this month. Students and teachers have been asked to write a short phrase or sentence on a light bulb about something you can do or something they already did that describes an act of kindness. That's fantastic. On December 6th, the elementary school held Operation Safe Child. Students in pre-K and kindergarten had Safe Child cards made where, in the unlikely event that a child disappears, this allows the parent to present the Safe Child card to the investigating law enforcement agency to assist in locating the child. The Safe Child card includes fingerprints and a picture with a demographic information. We had 50 students participate this year. Thank you to Officer Gene Chichester and Officer Mike Ann for their bringing this opportunity to our families.
Congratulations to the cast and crew of How to Eat Like a Child in other lessons and not being a grown-up. On a stellar job with our first elementary musical production. Your dedication and talent made this production truly special.
One other thing, the district is excited to announce that senior Braden Fonte has been nominated by Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, not once but 3 times to the United States Service Academies. Braden was nominated to the Naval Academy, Military Academy at West Point, and the Air Force Academy. The process of acceptance to a service academy is based on very rigorous academic and physical standards, and we are excited to see Braden advance to this point of his journey.
Congratulations, Braden. Also, in your backup notes, Seniors for Seniors actually was held last Thursday. Our senior class did a terrific job hosting our senior citizens within our community and our senior citizens associated with our senior class, should they be grandparents from other communities. It's a beautiful night. They had great entertainment and terrific food, and they were great service people to our senior citizens. Also, in your backup notes, I've shared with you the honor roll and high honor roll list. Again, honor roll is 85 to 89.9, and high honor roll 90%. You have grades 6 through 12. 77% of our students have earned that distinction this year either, or excuse me, this marking period, either honor roll or high honor roll. So congratulations to all of our students.
Nice. We have no guests of the board tonight, but here's the moment where I'd like those of you from the senior class that are here for government to stand up and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your future plans.
My name is Bryson Smith. I'm going to college for some high-performance technology.
Max Wilson, and undecided where I'm going to go to college, but football somewhere.
At my years, I'm planning on going to Rockport for physical education.
Tegan O'Reilly, I'm going into the workforce as a cosmetologist.
Thank you. Go on.
Rachel Richter, I'm going to nursing school.
I'm Shaylee McDonald. I'm going to Bengali.
Nice.
All right. Thank you.
Public forum, Mrs. Voos? Nobody signed up. Superintendent's report, Mr. Malasani.
Yes, the first up, just the capital project voting summary. I shared with you in your backup notes. We had a successful margin of 73.1%, 174 votes for and 64 against. And you can see that with respect to absentee ballots, there were a total of 24, 16 yes, and 8 no. Every year, may that be the school budget or when the times we do capital projects, we just share that information with the board at the official meeting. That's it for that report.
Okay, and our compact team committee updates. Who's going first?
I'll have Michelle go first. Mrs. Meyer?
I will go first. I won't be long. All right. So Parent Compact Committee update from the elementary school. We have some pretty consistent standing agenda items, one being Parent Square and the communication from that. So we spend our meeting really talking about getting feedback about how Parent Square is going as our new communication platform, taking feedback and then making any tweaks or adjustments. So far, it's a very positive transition, but we will keep that as a standing agenda item as we move forward. The start of the school year, our biggest lift has actually been bringing back and using our Parent Compact to help decide on what type of assemblies we would like to have back in our building. Doors are open. We would like to welcome back our parent volunteers as well as some professionals and entertainers to spread good messages around for our kids. So we had our parents look through a whole list of recommended presenters from other area principals and other schools that have been bringing them in. We took some time to look at all the links and see what our kids would really appreciate. And I'm happy to report that the two assemblies that our parents wanted, we were able to confirm. So we will be welcoming a STEAM museum alongside for our STEAM Fest, so science, technology, engineering, art, mathematics. They'll be coming and doing above and beyond what we would be doing in our station. So it's a whole mobile STEAM experience where students will be able to go in stations and experience these activities. So I look forward to that. That'll be happening in April with our STEAM Fest happening in May. And then we also have motivational speaker and BMX Bike Pro coming to us. And Chris Poulos is coming in February to spread, again, this theme of kindness and motivation for our kids that we're going to be doing this year. And our parents picked them out. And I'm so happy and thrilled that they were available and able to come. So we're going to keep building our assemblies. And I'm also happy to say that our parent group that is here, they're also coming in and doing a lot of volunteer work within the classroom, and so that's been really refreshing and something that I think our Compact Committee has wanted to help build back now that we can welcome guests in and have them back into our classrooms. So that's been the main focus, and then ongoing in the next times, we're going to keep looking at assemblies, and we're obviously going to review some code of conduct and keep that communication piece going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mrs. Meyer, Max would like to be invited when the BMX gentleman comes.
It's gonna be so cool.
You could share dates and times, he instantly felt
Okay,
left out. So
I will tell you.
Okay, so at the
February
middle high school compact committee, we actually did 2 meetings of sort of really getting into goal setting, like what it was that we wanted to tackle this year and how we wanted to do it. So what I'll first start by saying is our very first meeting, we had the largest turnout that I've really had in a compact committee since I've been here, which was great. It was a wonderfully diverse group in terms of age level, parents in terms of age levels of kids that they were raising and experience, whether it was their very first child entering into middle school or folks that had already graduated, a couple of kids. So it was a nice continuum. And we had a couple of rounds of very broad conversation around, why do you join a committee like this? There must be something, right? Like what gets you to leave your house at night and come here? There must be some sort of change that you're hoping to see. And that's not only an okay thing to say, but definitely the reason why I want that compact committee to find its voice. So we did our first night of just, what gets you out? What do you want to get involved in? And I did a lot of note taking around things that people were concerned over. So everything from, my child is transitioning from the elementary school to the middle school. We loved the mentor-mentee program, but what about this Google Classroom thing and this drive and all these papers, and how do we help our kids get organized? To parents that have graduated kids just last year saying, wow, that was a lot, and is there a way that we could navigate the system better? By the time we got to the end of that first night, it was becoming really clear that this group of diverse, in terms of need families, were saying, there's a lot of things that happen that just seem like you have to learn it the hard way. And so here we are, this group of parents in this room with all this knowledge. Our goal and refinement after our second meeting really centered in on, we're right here. So how do we as a group actually spend this year looking at doing a needs assessment? So I've sent out a survey to the entire 6 through 12 families asking for the same kind of feedback that I asked from the compact committee. And we were really asking the question, like, what did you have to learn the hard way? That if we knew that you were learning it the hard way, maybe we could help teach it to you. So it's really got this beautiful spirit to it this year of parents that I just feel like everyone was in the room saying, if it's my second kid, I remember one parent looked over at Liz and said, well, but my first kid could be your third. So like, you already learned it the hard way, teach it to me so that my child doesn't have to have the same bumps in the road. So we had everything from college going, the cost of that, choosing a school, the timeline, how stressful that was with parents came up. Like I said, Google Classroom, National Honor Societies, both at the National Junior and the National Honor Society at the high school, that came up several times for parents, even in the survey results that we've gotten, just around the transparency of that. How do parents help their kids become prepared? How do we help them really understand what we're looking for, how we measure what we're looking for? So the feedback has been, my child was invited to apply for the National Honor Society, but then didn't get in. So we're doing what we're supposed to be doing academically, but these other pieces that you're measuring, what are they? How do you measure them? How do we prepare our kids for it? So the spirit of transparency. So our goal this year is really that simple. It's, I wish I knew, and trying to just elicit a lot of community voice around Family 612, and then begin as a group piloting, is this enough information for you? Like, if the National Honor Society folks come in, the advisors, and they train you, was this enough? And if this training was enough, then we send this out to parents in an easy way for them to understand it. And we've also discussed, like, how do we then document what we've done? Because we're really good the first time through as a school at training, like, this is new, and we're really good at saying this is new. And 3 years from now, it's not new to us, but it might be new to incoming sixth grade, it might be new to families that have moved in. So like, how do we document our work so that we've created this space where you didn't have to learn it the hard way? So that's gonna be our goal this year. When I think about what the end result will be, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be some how-to guides for families, whether they come out as, we'll do maybe a night event that we've talked about, bringing families in to talk about financial aid. You're probably gonna see some how-to guides, like how to raise a child that's ready for National Honor Society, things like that, to just create a level of transparency. How many of those we'll tackle this year and be able to come to completion on by the time the school year ends, I don't know. But I imagine you'll see at least 2 really solid pieces from us that will help parents move forward. We'll probably focus very heavily on college going, the financial aid of that, helping parents start to be thoughtful when you're in 6th grade that there's this thing called parent contribution. What does that mean, and how do I help my child choose a college? instead of selling them the college of their choice and then realizing that the cost is outside of our reach. That was definitely part of our conversation. So you're going to definitely see something on that, and you're going to see some real transparency around National Honor Society. And I'm going to talk about Adulting 101. Do you want me to do that?
Sure. Does anybody have any questions on the compact?
Yes, I'd like to ask something. It goes to
Sure.
Dr. Chanel and Mrs. Myers-Chase. So how, I see some push out of information asking for participation in compact, but can you remind us how you're doing that? Are you tapping people? Is it a general, like, solicit? How are we getting parents to be involved? Because you also mentioned that you have sort of a good participation across the board in middle school, high
The first meeting
school.
was fantastic.
Yes, well, sometimes that
The second meeting
dwindles.
was a little light. I'm hoping the third meeting.
So how are we
was
getting parents involved?
I did a full all call on Parent Square to parents for them to be able to sign up. So
Okay.
that it was broad and wide open for everybody.
And anybody can
Yeah,
join?
in the 6 through 12, if I don't do that every year, it would be me and Liz Dietrich and Sherry Murdoch, right? Like,
Yeah.
there are definitely some people that always come.
Yep.
And last year, we had families that their kids graduated. And so, like, I knew that we were gonna definitely need to canvass very broadly this year, so we definitely canvassed broadly.
And for me, it's joint meeting with PTO. So I go first as with the
Yep.
compact, and then our parent group, PTO, goes next. And your big participation was because I lost a lot.
She did. It was
My
great.
whole PTO was also part of that compact committee, and a lot of them moved on to 6th, 7th grade. And so I started campaigning at actually the very first playground night with kindergarten.
Oh, nice.
So we have a lot of kindergarten parents that are joining, and then we just keep bringing it up, and probably going to do a better job when we do our pre-K and K information night, explaining what Parent Compact is and what PTO. And we make those dates the same, one for convenience, but two, it's this common interest that parents have. It's a very similar kind of line that PTO's initiatives and our Compact initiatives
Yep.
go by.
So I guess I mentioned that because I think we're trying to do a better job at opening it to everybody,
Yeah.
right? And making it, anyone that wants to be involved can be, and I think it's a great opportunity. It wasn't until halfway through elementary school that I knew that it existed as a parent. So I think the sooner we tell people and get them involved, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah,
So, good work.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then, anybody else? I did, along with some of the points of pride, and our social media posts have all been very good and positive. I did see that today there was an Adulting 101 class, which prompted me to say, can you tell us a little bit about this new, what's going on with that?
Sure. So actually, before COVID hit, this was a conversation that we were having across the high school. We started doing a bit of an audit around our curriculum specifically for technology. And we were looking at, how do we give kids these particular skills? And what we find is that we give kids a lot of really great skills, like financial literacy. If you take Caroline Richardson's class, right, you're going to learn that. If you never take that class with Caroline Richardson, how do we provide that opportunity to you? So in catching ourselves back up to where we are gearing back up to take on bigger things, Caroline Richardson is working with me. She is our advisor for our work co-op kids. Used to be that as part of work co-op, we would do like a career day. We do participate in 2 regional career days, but we no longer host our own, which was a large lift of this particular position. So being in the process of really revamping that job description with Caroline around what her primary role will be now as this advisor. Adulting 101, we are partnering with Angela Grouse, who you met last board meeting. She came to talk about the Business Education Alliance and Junior Achievement. Angela is working with us. She's going to help us find people to come in and teach classes that we don't feel we're experts in, but within the walls of our school, we definitely have a level of expertise. So what the kids saw today was actually a social media piece that would fit a little bit later in our scope and sequence that we've been building, but very timely for our seniors. They're getting ready to go through, if they haven't been accepted to college yet, or if they haven't applied for scholarships, which is going to start really gearing up here in this next semester, they need to know that their social media presence is actually very important to them as they go out looking for these things. So today they got their first round of Adulting 101. LinkedIn is not Facebook, it is not Instagram, it is not Twitter, right? Here's what you do on LinkedIn. and it becomes a very important networking piece for them. So they learned about that today. They were also given the advice to go home and scrub their social media accounts of anything that does not make them look professional, because they're getting ready to graduate from high school. And so now the shift really needs to happen. So they got that today. They're also going to get things like, we have a human resources branch that we're going to be looking to build for them, resume building, getting through your first round of interviews. They have had somebody from Human Resources actually already visit their English class as part of Adulting 101, so that'll happen again next semester. We're going to run some health and wellness components, how to handle stress, what is stress. Stress is good, stress gets you out of bed in the morning, stress helps you hit deadlines. When is stress not good? How to take care of yourself. Knowing that when they leave and go off to college, that first semester is going to be probably very challenging for them. We want to give them some positive coping strategies before they leave us, so that will be built in. We're going to do a lot of work around finance, so they're going to learn about mortgages, they're going to learn about car loans, and we're going to dig pretty deeply into student loans. Right now, Mrs. Richardson and I are looking at some really cool, let's call it free, open-sourced, kids don't know this yet, but we found some websites that are going to allow us to take their, I heard Rachel telling you that she's starting to get colleges telling her how much money they're going to give her. There are some open source things now where kids can go in and put in the college that they've been accepted to, how much the college gave them in financial aid, what their parent contribution is, and it will actually calculate for them every kid that's done that, so that you're going to be able to see, did you get the average amount from that college? Did you get a little bit below? In other words, go negotiate for yourself, and here's a little bit of floor and ceiling for that. So we're going to try to dig, we're learning a little bit as quickly as we can to try to make sure that we set parents and kids up for just a little bit of a different exit from here this year. So student loans will also be part of what we'll teach. And finally, entrepreneurship. So we're going to do some rounds on that. They're going to learn everything from the social media component, but also like the banking piece of entrepreneurship and how important that piece is going to be for them and help them network. So that's our goal. It's like a work in progress, but the hope would be that we start offering most of the rest of this component to juniors and seniors. Today we targeted just the seniors, but you're going to watch us open it to juniors and seniors just to make sure that we get 2 full years of times where the kids can bounce in and out of these sessions during home base and get chances to learn all of these topics.
So it's being offered during home base?
It is being offered during home base.
Couple questions.
Sure.
Please, Dr. Chanel. Is it mandatory or optional?
Well, it was convincingly optional. We definitely reached out to all the senior teachers and said, please don't pull the seniors for home base on this day, because this is what we're going to be doing in the auditorium. So we ran it on the announcements, but then we definitely had home base teachers.
Are the
sending
AM
kids to us.
BOCES kids able to participate?
That's the hardest part of a child that leaves our campus to go to BOCES. It's the hardest part. We just can't get our hands on them.
So they're not able to participate?
I mean, they'd have to stay back to do that, which would be such a loss for them with the real world experience that they're getting over there. I'm not opposed to that, but like I would think they would
So
be
selfishly?
opposed. Yeah.
I have
yeah.
a child in AM BOCES, so that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Because I think it was.
AM BOCES, yeah, no, he's still going to be back on time. Can we record it?
We do a good job with board meetings.
We probably, yeah, we probably
Would they
could.
watch it?
We
I
probably
think it's
could.
more, I think it's that, what you're talking
I
about.
just don't know if the children would watch it, but we can
It's a
record it.
really good message, and I think it's stuff that we're trying to relay from home, but to hear it from other sources is really good for all of our students.
Sure. So
Not just
maybe what I'll
parents.
do is have Mrs. Richardson, she's been working on this. She's got a nice little Canva that she's designed and kind of starting to map out what these are going to be and when they're going to happen. So maybe what we should make sure to do is get that to parents enough that you might say, hey, I want you
Watch it together.
or watch it together or
Regardless, I think
drive
it's-
that day. Like we
It's great work, and I think we just keep pushing forward. It's hard to capture everybody with
It
all the
is.
scheduling needs, so
It
I
is.
appreciate
If
that.
we did it after school, we'd lose all our athletes. If we try to do it at night, the chances all the kids would come back is hard. So yes, this at least gives us, it's happening outside of Caroline Richardson's class, right? So like if you were taking your 5-course sequence in Spanish and you weren't filling your days with business, at least you get a chance to learn like what a mortgage is and how you go about doing that. So we're getting closer.
Is it my understanding that most seniors do AM BOCES?
Yes, they all do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought so. So, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sneaking that in. Mr. Malasani, draft budget guidelines?
Yes, I've shared with you the draft budget, and just looking for feedback from all of you. It's something you can send to me through email, or certainly you can talk about it this evening. Per your budget calendar, you will be adopting the draft guideline, or excuse me, the guidelines in your January meeting.
Was there any changes to this from last year?
There are a couple of changes, and I'm not sure if I've given you the strikeout version or not. No, so minor changes. There's one that I deleted in its entirety because it's no longer relevant, and other than that, it was a little bit of wordsmithing to make sure we fulfill the board's goals that we established this past summer.
Where did you come up with the fund balance amount?
So the fund balance is 365?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what the district has budgeted for every year since I've been here at Caledonia Mumford.
$1,000 a day.
What's that?
$1,000.
$1,000 a day. Yes. And also you see in there that we will be using the executive budget from Governor Hochul.
There was some news on that this afternoon, wasn't there?
If there were, I missed it.
Maybe they're planning on fully funding foundation aid again?
Yes, they actually accomplished that last year. Yes.
And they said they still will this year, I think was some sort of announcement today.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a safe harbor out there. It looks like districts will be receiving between 2 to 3% of state aid, but we'll see when the budget cycle runs. I know for some of them, receiving 2 to 3% means no increase or flat foundation aid, just because of potentially decrease in enrollment or things of that nature.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for now on that? Please feel free to email Bob if you have any questions before we adopt that. Moving on to old business, revision of the pesticide emergency application date. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, revise the approved emergency pesticide herbicide to the following locations due to the abundance of crabgrass, broadleaf weeds, and clover that will overwhelm the desirable grass and create tripping and play hazards. The district plans to perform this emergency application on April 24th, 2024, with an alternate date of May 4th, 2024, to the areas as listed: front of elementary, varsity baseball field, varsity softball field, 2 soccer fields, and practice football field. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Those are Saturdays, right, Bob?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carried. New business. Approval of tax collector's report. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the 2023-2024 tax collector's report. Motion, please.
Make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Nardone?
Yep, so the tax collector's report you have in your backup notes, we came in $30,000 better at this time than we did last time, which means less money was surrendered to the county, which means we've received more money throughout September, October, and November. The good news with that is we were able to invest that money because interest rates are still over 5%, and that's good for our taxpayers too, because they're going to see less in penalties. The rest of the money, the $240,000-ish, is going to go to the county, and they're going to submit that to us in about April, end of March, April.
That's technically the late payments, right?
Yeah, it'll be everybody who hasn't paid, and then they tack on a fee. Part of that fee goes to the county, and then a small percentage of that fee comes to us.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That motion carried. New business number 2, approval of softball overnight trip. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the request for the softball team to participate in an overnight field trip to Herkimer, New York from April 26th through April 28th, 2024, per the regulations set forth by Board Policy number 8460, field trips. Cost for the chaperones will be passed on to the price of the student fee. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? They got an indoor facility there, Bob?
No, I don't believe so. Is there an indoor facility, Doc? Do you know?
I don't know.
Backup note said weather permitting.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Number 3, acceptance of gift to the school district. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, accept the donation of solar eclipse viewers to the science department. This is in accordance with the board policy number 5230, donations. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Did the donor know we don't have school that day?
Yes.
All right. Number 4, new business, board policy revision. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the revisions to policy number 8450, home, hospital, or institutional instruction. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
Thank you, Arnie. In a second.
Sure.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in the backup notes, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Executive session, resolved that the Board of Education adjourn to executive session at 6:32 PM to discuss the employment and employee history of particular
Persons and student discipline.
and a student discipline matter. Motion, please,
I'll make it.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. We will be back. Hello, we're back. Resolved that the Board of Education return to regular session at 8:59 PM. Motion, please,
Motion?
and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That's carried. So we have finally personnel. Number 10, can I have a motion for 1 through 11 as laid out in the agenda? Appointment, number 1, appointment of elementary special education teacher. Number 2, resignation of elementary teacher. Number 3, appointment of coaches. Number 4, approval of new roster position of occupational therapist. Number 5, resignation of bus driver. Number 6, approval of substitute bus driver. Number 7, appointment of elementary musical director. Number 8, appointment of elementary musical assistant. Number 9, approval of teacher substitute. Number 10, appointment of volunteer coaches. And number 11, appointment of a coach. Motion, please.
I just want to make sure, this appointment of elementary special education teacher.
Number 1.
Yes.
Appointment of elementary special education teacher.
Yes.
Motion for 1 through 11, please.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carried. Resolved that the Board of Education adjourn the meeting of December 12th, 2023 at 9 PM. Motion, please.
I'll make it.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.